Matt Whitaker joins us now. Ambassador, welcome to you. Thank you for being here. This is a big day. It'll be a big evening. What do you anticipate from President Trump tonight?
Well, I expect him to tell the American people all about the success that the United States military has shown with their power and lethality for the last month in Iran. And ultimately, he's going to make sure that he gives the men and women of our military the credit that they deserve for their bravery and for their efforts, because it's been quite exceptional. We're at or ahead of schedule on all the objectives that Secretary Rubio and the president have laid out. And I think that's extraordinary. So I think the president is going to celebrate that and at the same time, explain that right now the United States of America, because we're energy independent, are in a great place.
And Matt, some tough words towards NATO at the moment from President Trump, and I'll pull up a quote that he said earlier in an interview with The Telegraph. He said, oh yes, I would say it's beyond reconsideration. That's the US potentially pulling out of NATO. I was never swayed by NATO. I always knew they were a paper tiger, and Putin knows that too, by the way. What are your thoughts, first of all, on how NATO has been there alongside the US in this and what the future relationship might be?
Yeah, well, first of all, nobody has made NATO stronger than President Trump. What he accomplished at The Hague last year by getting all allies to agree to 5% on defense spending, I mean, that was a major strengthening of NATO. But our allies, again, have to demonstrate, not through words. We've seen a lot of strongly worded statements, some in favor of the United States efforts in Iran, some, quite frankly, opposed. But it's been the actions. It's been this basing and overflight that we've seen. And we've also seen several allies that are just unwilling to say that they're on the side of the United States and want to be a part of the solution. So I think what right now President Trump's looking for is actions, and he's looking for a NATO that is there for the United States, that it's not, as Marco Rubio said pretty clearly, it's not a one-way street. It's got to be a two-way street. It's got to not only protect Europe and provide for the security of Europe, but it also there needs to be some benefit and some advantage for the United States being. Otherwise, we're just the suckers that are guaranteeing the security of Europe without any reciprocity.
Ambassador, the timeline that President Trump set for this seems to be very important to him to hold to that 6-week timeline. What part do you think that plays in negotiations, knowing that that deadline was so publicly set?
Well, I mean, there's not much left, quite frankly, to bomb in Iran. The military has been quite effective and efficient of demonstrating our capabilities. And, President Trump, I think, has, at the beginning of this, suggested it would be 4 to 6 weeks, but he didn't say that was a hard deadline. It was when we accomplish our objectives, and I think it's very important. President Trump has always chosen diplomacy first and only used military action when diplomacy didn't work, or when the Iranians or anyone else we negotiate with demonstrate that they're not willing to make a deal. And so I think, it is pretty clear that we are talking to the right people in Iran, that we believe that there is an off-ramp that Iran can choose. And that, President Trump, again, he's the negotiator in chief. He is a peacemaker. And, I think we all expect and trust that he'll get this done on his terms.
Ambassador Whitaker, appreciate you joining us today. Thank you very much, sir.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.